Hi, Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years of experience. In the next 6 to 8 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story on this 2015 F150, and so you can make yourself an informed decision. Yep, and this is me, and I'll be letting you know what the inside story is. Now, coming in on the front left tire, you got about 40% tread on aggressive snow tires, so down but definitely not out. Okay, now coming behind the front left tire, this is the left outer tie rod. Now this is the most important thing in the entire truck. It's the only thing that holds the wheel to the steering. It is tight. This is the left lower ball joint. That's critical as well. It holds the wheel to the chassis. It is tight. Now if you see this tube right here, this is the left front strut, and it's full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here. That's good and dry. That rubber boot right there is the left outer CV boot. It's full of grease, and if it was ripped, you'd see grease all over the place. The inner CV boot right there is same thing. It's full of grease, and if it was ripped, you'd see grease all over the place. So that is good and dry. Now coming behind the front, okay, brakes, you got about 20,000 K left on your front brakes there. This is your left sway bar link, and it's connected from here to here, and it is connected, important, because it dampens the sway when you go around the corner. This is your left upper ball joint, and it is tight. Your left spring suspension, intact, no cracks, no breaks. Now, speaking about, okay, now just the bottom of the transmission pan right here, bone dry, very important. Bottom of the motor here, another leak point would be right here. A little bit of sweat there, but nothing, no active leaks. So leak-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern in this so far. Coming across to the right front tire, about 40, down a little bit more, about 30% tread on, so they're definitely down but not out on your front tires. About 20,000 K on your front brakes. Right front sway bar link connected from here, intact, doing its job. The right outer CV boot, good and dry. Right inner CV boot, good and dry. The right lower ball joint is tight. The right outer CV boot, outer tie rod is tight. Your right shock here, good and dry. Your right spring suspension, no cracks, no breaks. You're okay. So on the front right and left, I'm not seeing any issues with the brakes, suspension, or leaks. Now, following down, now this is part of your exhaust system here. Nothing wrong with it. Big problem though is people are reaching under and going cut and going cut, and you got two, not just one, but 1, 2, and you got yourself about $1,000 repair, because those are catalytic converters, and they're cutting them out, and they're selling them for about $100 to $200 at a scrapyard. Now that being said, if you buy the vehicle, I will put on a catalytic theft protection system, and it'll stop people from doing that. Now, that's if you buy, and that costs you nothing, my friend. It's just part of a service that I do. So get a hold of me if you buy, and I'll do that for you. Now, following your exhaust down, oh, another leak point right here is where the drive shaft comes out of the rear div. This is another leak point. If it's going to leak, it's going to leak right there. Good and dry. So another leak point is right here where the drive shaft goes to the front div, and that is good and dry. Your exhaust all intact, no issues with that. Yeah, another leak point right here where the drive shaft goes into the diff, and that is good and dry. Another leak point would be right here, because there's a seal inside there for the rear drive shaft, and if it was going to leak, you'd see all leaking around here, good and dry. On your brakes, you've got about a little less, about 15,000 K, a little less brakes on the rear than you have on the front, about 15,000 K, down but definitely not out. This is the right rear shock. Now again, it's same thing. It's full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here, and this is good and dry. Your right spring suspension, no cracks, no breaks on your right spring suspension. Yeah. So brake-wise, suspension-wise, and no tire on your right, probably your right front, your right rear tire, definitely down. You got about maybe 20% tread left on the tread here, so definitely down. I might want to be thinking about changing them up definitely for the winter time there. Now coming across to the Left rear tire, down, yeah, gained about 20% tread left on this thing. Definitely want to be looking at new tires for this, set of tires for the winter there. The left spring suspension, intact, no cracks, no breaks. This is the leak point here on the left side. If it was going to leak, see for yourself, good and dry. About 15,000 K on the rear brakes. Your left shock, good and dry. So brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, on the right, left, and rear, no issues. Tires definitely down. Now you've got 224,000 K, really a decent amount of K on that. You got at least another 100,000 K on this truck, as far as I can tell, because so far I'm not seeing anything in. I have no major issues with it. Now you do have a crack in your windshield. Definitely want to be thinking about changing that. Your AC, oh yay, blowing cold. I'm not seeing any check engine lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you out and show you the condition of the motor now. Okay, you've got the 3.5 motor in this thing, which is a 6-cylinder. Definitely better on gas than the 5.4, and in my experience, very reliable motor. Shot of the exhaust of the motor running, very, very clean. Now, one thing I always do is I take off the oil cap and I look underneath there for any kind of indication of white goo. Now, you'd see it right away, and it's what it would be was a mixture of oil and antifreeze, and that is a bad sign to have. I'm not seeing any indication of that in here. In fact, I'm not hearing any indication of problems with this car, with this truck at all, with the running of it. And as far as I can tell, it has been well maintained. Now, remember, if you buy the vehicle, contact me. I'm going to put the free catalytic theft protection system on it, and I'm going to put a free 10% fuel saving device that I've used for 20 years, never fails, and that's free, my friend. Just contact me, and I'm going to be happy to help you there, and hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Have a good one.